Hey y'all, Arletta Allen here, and I am your healing and trauma recovery expert. I'm here with a follow-up to the video when we last discussed ways to identify if you are suffering from trauma. And so we identified the 3 different types of trauma that we look at, and those traumas are complex trauma, chronic trauma, and acute trauma. I myself have suffered from both chronic and acute trauma. And I like to find ways to help others to be able to identify what types of trauma they have suffered through so that we can come up with a plan, devise a plan to be able to identify and manage trauma triggers so that you can better navigate those feelings when they come to kind of overtake you. So if you've suffered from complex trauma, that simply means that you've been exposed to multiple traumatic events in your life. Now, this could be childhood abuse. This could be neglect, abandonment, torture, kidnapping, you name it. There's a lot of things in different types of trauma that can fall underneath complex. Complex just means that it's kind of like it's different types of trauma that's happened all to one person. Now, when you get into chronic trauma, we're talking about prolonged periods of time, repeated trauma over and over and over. Now, that is identified normally with like domestic abuse or even childhood trauma is when you kind of look at chronic trauma. Another way to discover that you've encountered this type of trauma is, have you ever been deprived of something? Let's look at starvation, homelessness, and there's other ones I can't quite remember. Bullying. That's another example of chronic trauma. The last one was acute trauma, and that's the one we didn't get to last time. So acute trauma is normally one incident that's occurred in your life, and this could be as extreme as being diagnosed with a fatal disease of some sort, like cancer. You can also look at if you've ever been into a car accident. Just remembering those events can trigger. So acute trauma, those are one-time events. You've been in a flood, you've been in a car accident, you witnessed a fire. So many different ways to define acute trauma, but it's only one singular event. So remember that we survive the experiences of trauma. However, trauma leaves an emotional imprint that we have to be able to get over. So make sure you follow me for more tips on how you too can overcome and identify trauma triggers. All right? Talk to you soon.